Joining us now is Kachi Ofia to catch stories trending around the world. Hello, Kachi.
Good morning. It's time to catch it. Nice one. I like it. That was a good one. Good morning, Rafai. I hope you're well.
Good morning, Kachi. How are you doing?
I'm very well. Good to have myself, actually. Well, good morning to you viewers. Here are some stories that are trending across the globe. Let's dive right in. The Obi-dient movement moves across borders. The mayor of Toronto has endorsed the Obi-dient movement right now. And of course, Garba Shehu has things to say to the governor of Benue State, Samuel Ortom, over his stance on the state of insecurity in his state. Also, I have a big question. Is building a befitting worship center for the people of Akwa Ibom to worship God a state business? Well, the Atheist Society of Nigeria does not think so. However, the High Court does. Finally, would get into the situation in Dubai, where Nigerians were detained at the airport and their passports seized. Now, John Tory, the mayor of Toronto, has endorsed the Obi-dient movement. He said he believes Nigeria will be prosperous if the Labour Party presidential candidate wins the upcoming 2023 elections. Now, the mayor was speaking to a large group of Nigerians who attended a political forum attended by Peter Obi. Take a look.
More and more to come. To invest, to help grow businesses. The tech scene in Nigeria is one of the best in the world. We know it's only going to grow. Nollywood, I was blown away with the size of Nollywood.
Now, the conversation on diaspora voting is still ongoing. However, this is really interesting to see. Just as we spoke this morning about crowdfunding, it will shock you how people are putting their little pennies together from different parts of the world to be part of this movement. And so for me, it's more like even if they cannot in actual terms cast your vote, in a way they can let the world know that, listen, I am outside the country, but I'm definitely involved. And this is unprecedented, seeing the fact that you have people outside the country who are showing so much support for one particular candidate.
Yeah, it's actually it's quite refreshing to see, because election cycle on election cycle, it's not something that we see often in Nigeria. Clearly, Mr. Peter Obi has a lot of support in the diaspora, and clearly he's trying to leverage on that support, you know, and it's about people putting their money where their mouth is. That's the most important thing when it comes to a campaign like Peter Obi's campaign, because the grassroots here are very important, those structures that we're talking about. And if he can have that backing that he's looking for from the diaspora, it's a completely different trajectory for his race, because at the end of the day, it's all going to come down to money. And if that money can come from the diaspora, then that does give him an advantage. And hey, clearly he has fans like the mayor of Toronto. So, I mean, his pull is just getting better and better.
Dr. Bati.
Okay, well, I think the thing to note here is that the mayor of Toronto has no vote in the matter.
Of course.
It's just diplomacy. And I've seen a counter story in which the mayor of Toronto, I think his name is Patrick Brown, saying that he did not endorse Mr. Peter Obi of the Labour Party, that he only attended the event at the Hilton, Toronto, and that, you know, he's very proud of the Nigerian community in Canada and particularly in Toronto. But I think a Nigerian that was there was the one who tweeted and said, oh, Mayor of Toronto endorses Peter Obi. So this is political season. People will make all kinds of claims. And endorsement is a good strategy in politics. When you are endorsed, even if the person does not have a physical vote in the matter, you look at the position of the person, you look at the value of the person's voice, and then that's supposed to encourage other people.
Yeah.
But in this particular case, I think the mayor has been quoted as saying he did not endorse, but he was there, he attended the event because of his respect for the Nigerian community in Canada. However, it's important that Mr. Peter Obi, you know, is connecting with Nigerians in diaspora. And we explained this yesterday, that many of these, you know, Nigerians in diaspora, they have considerable influence, you know, and identifying with a candidate can also sway other people's choices in Nigeria. The third point, which was made yesterday, which is worth reiterating, is a point that Mr. Peter Obi made about diaspora voting. And I think I saw a story in which Abike Dabiri Irewa, the chairperson of the Nigeria Diaspora Commission, is also saying that the National Assembly, which had rejected diaspora voting as one of the clauses in the constitutional amendment process, should support President Buhari in promoting the idea of diaspora voting. If diaspora remittances are good enough for the economy, then the man in diaspora should also be good enough to have a say in how his country is governed, as is the case in many countries, most recently, as we have seen in Kenya.
Yeah.
So, but it's also a good platform for Mr. Peter Obi to lay out his programs. Because as I was saying yesterday, the persons in diaspora, they are not, most of them are not disconnected with home. That sense of home remains strong. That sense of connection remains strong. And it's important that these persons who have their roots here and who are connected with us are continually, involved in the development process in Nigeria. That's the way I see it.
Rufai?
I think it's election season, but we should also be wary of news, fake news. And I'm happy, Dr. Batu, you pointed it out. Just like the time that some people carried the fake news that the president of Ghana endorsed a certain candidate and the president had to write and refute it. You know, we have to state things clearly. Yeah, you might support a candidate. I'm sure if people from opposition party have a rally for their own diaspora community and they invite the mayor will come.
Of course.
I am sure that this is to also show you that Nigerians in the diaspora have done so well from themselves. And it's not only in Canada, it's every part. I can tell you for free, there was a certain specific spiritual event that on the road to elections in the UK, the British Prime Minister then, David Cameron, attended. In fact, it was a Redeemed Church event. Because he knows about the big voting bloc in the UK and Nigerians in diaspora doing well from themselves. And in fact, he attended the event and I remember him saying, "Thank you, Daddy Gio." This was David Cameron. So that's to show Nigerians are doing well of us. And that's why I don't understand. And it's a shame. As at 2022, we don't have diaspora voting. It's a shame. Because we've had diaspora communities of Nigerians all over the world, even in West Africa, since the 1920s. Or 30s, where we had a viable Nigerian community in places like Ghana that were even voted for in elections in Ghana. One of the biggest markets in Ghana today is called Mokola. It's named after our Mokola here. So it's not only even in the UK, Canada, America, even in African countries.
Even in the Caribbean.
Even in the Caribbean.
Yes, Calabar in Jamaica.
So that's why it is a shame. If we've been having diaspora communities since the 20s, doing well in every part of the world, in 1920s, and we've been having elections. I think the first federal election was 1923 in this country. So we've been holding elections for about 100 years, albeit then during the colonial times, and still yet we don't recognize the diaspora community. There's shame on us, but most importantly, shame on the lawmakers. And I will make special mention to the Deputy Speaker that casted an aspersion on diaspora voting when it was talked about in the House of Representatives. The Deputy Speaker should apologize to every diaspora community that puts over 20 billion into this economy every year. Because the diaspora community has been carrying this economy as regards FX. See, the other day, the CBN was boasting that 2.6 billion came into the country through the Naira for Dollar scheme. In the first quarter, 5.68 billion in US dollar remittances came to this country through diaspora. The third parties, nobody can now deny the fact that the Peter Obi movement is high. There's high momentum for Peter Obi, and this man will make a dent on the political scene in Nigeria. You can't deny that fact. The Peter Obi mania is here to stay. The question is, will all this support translate to local votes for him when the election starts? Time will tell, I don't know about that. But you cannot deny that you don't know the name Peter Obi now as a force in these elections. Would it turn out to victory? I don't know.
That's a question that remains unanswered. Well, let's talk about the fact that the presidency has slammed the Benue State governor, Samuel Ortom, saying that the governor's lies are insulting to the nation's security system. Now, Garba Shehu, who is the senior special assistant to President Buhari on media and publicity, stated that the governor granted an interview recently where he alleged that security personnel informed him, high-profile security personnel informed him that the president has ordered the security agents in the state not to move against violent Fulani herdsmen responsible for recent violence. Now, he went on to state that if the governor is as brave as he claims to be, he should name names, specifically the military personnel who told him this story or forever shut up. Now, of course, we have tweets on this conversation, beginning with one of the tweets because he put out a thread on Twitter. Now, Garba Shehu said the Nigerian people will see him for what he is, speaking about Samuel Ortom now, an opportunist flaunting his wares as the country prepares to elect its next president, a man fond of posing in military fatigue, who expects the country to believe Nigeria's top security personnel would share. Now, he goes on to say, other things, but let's take a look at some reactions to this. This tweet says, please, Governor Samuel Ortom, be bold enough to tell Nigerians the names of those security agents that told you the federal government gave them an order not to fight Fulani herdsmen. And names should be mentioned as well, except you are being mischievous because currently our security agents are liquidating them. Let's take a look at a final tweet as well. This tweet says the Nigerian government under Buhari should provide the list of prosecuted terrorists and then shame Ortom's facts, unless, he goes on to insult the government, of course, always coming to fight the truth. You said you're fighting terrorism for good 7.5 years, yet not even one has been caught and prosecuted. Are we really this dumb in Nigeria? Now, this is a conversation. In fact, Ortom is currently trending on Twitter. As a result of the claims that he made. They were very specific, they were very bold, and he said them, I'm sure, fully aware that he was going to get proper blowback. So the big question remains, would he come out to give these names? I honestly doubt that he would.
I don't think anyone in that position really gives up their sources, though, do they?
I doubt he's going to say anything about it. I think he just said what he said, and a lot of the reactions on Twitter just go on to say those who know. I don't know what that means.
Well, I mean, worst case scenario, correct me if I'm wrong here, but wouldn't it then be security agencies to call him for questioning on the claims that he's put out to try and verify, and not the president's spokesperson saying that he should come out in public with the names of the officers who gave him this information? Surely there should be a process if they do feel as though what he said is not true.
Yeah, Rufai, what do you think about this?
I mean, in the bit of all of this, let's not overheat the tension. Let's not say things that we cannot verify. If he said somebody told him that in confidence, then definitely he will not be saying the name.
Of course.
But I think let's not throw the baby away with the bathwater in this issue. I think we are doing that. What is the issue? Were people in Benue not being killed? Didn't we see evidence of mass burial in Benue?
We did.
Wasn't Governor Ortom's life himself threatened? What investigation was done? Didn't a group, a purported Fulani group, write a letter that were those involved? Didn't we see how Governor Ortom had to run in the bush and scamper for his life? When all of this killing was happening, what was said about them? What solution was provided? And the governor went ahead to find solution by setting up a vigilante force in the states. I think those are the major issues here. His state was threatened. Do you know how the productivity dropped in Benue State because of the level of insecurity? Do you know what happened to the livelihood? Did you not watch on TV how priests were being killed in Benue State? Did we all watch on TV how lives were being slaughtered for free in Benue State? When he was screaming then, what response was made? Till today, did they bring to book those that attacked him or wanted to assassinate him? Let's ask those questions now. And the rep of the president that said, name names. In all of this too, has he also been sensitive to the plight of the people? This was the same person that when farmers were killed in Zabamari, he said it was because they didn't take permission from the military before they went to their farms. Yeah. These people think we forget in a hurry. Mm-hmm. He said it. And a lot of groups called him out that was insensitive. Did he not first say that the number of farmers that died were not up to the number they first said? Yes. Governor Ortom might say his, which everybody might not agree with. But the question is, does he remove the fact that people have died needlessly in Benue? What is the constitutional speak about security of life and property in Section 40, Subsection 2? It's not the role of the government to provide security. If Benue was safe, will Governor Ortom be saying they are killing his people?
No, the issue is like this. It's more serious. One, the governor of Benue State, Samuel Ortom, has been having a running battle with the federal government over one, open grazing, or what they call national livestock transformation. Two, politically, he now belongs to the opposition. Three, he has been critical of the handling of the security situation, not just in his own state, but across the entire Middle Belt and across Nigeria. And he's been so critical of President Muhammadu Buhari, so personally, that he himself said on this program that he has been declared a persona non grata in the presidential villa, that he no longer gets invited to any important. So between the governor of Benue State and the presidency, there's no love lost on a number of issues: politics, security, national livestock transformation. That's the first point. The second point here is the governor is quoted as having said that his security personnel told him that the president of Nigeria had given instruction to security agents not to kill any Fulani herdsmen involved in acts of violence. Now, that's a very serious allegation. The president of Nigeria is commander-in-chief of the armed forces, okay? And his primary responsibility includes the security and welfare of the people of Nigeria. For the president of Nigeria to be quoted as having said that, oh, don't go after criminals, that, of course, will be something that is potentially disruptive, that can cause, chaos in the country. Hence, that's where Garba Shehu is coming from. When he says the governor will have to name names. When he says, there's another point he made, that security, top security personnel are not likely to share that kind of information, even if it were true, just carelessly like that with anybody. But you forgot the fact that Ortom is also, chief security officer of his state. But on the face of it, yes, it will be really problematic for you to say the president of Nigeria is encouraging criminality. So you may not like the tone of how, Garba Shehu responded, but he also has a responsibility to defend his principle and to say the president of Nigeria is not encouraging criminals, even without any ethnic label. And he can provide evidence, maybe that's what she should have provided, that look, at every point, the president of Nigeria has always given instructions that criminals should be apprehended. Third point is that Governor Samuel Ortom is a very articulate man. He has the machinery, he has the experience to defend himself. If indeed he made those claims, he can still come out and say, yes, I stand by what I said. But I think what is important is that every political leader, no matter the persuasion, should be careful and not stoke the embers of ethnic conflict or violence, whatever may be the grievances. And I hope that, beyond the theatrics of the response from Garba Shehu, at some point, the air will be cleared on this point. Because I have heard Governor Samuel Ortom himself saying he's not playing ethnic politics. He just wants security. And that is an important request to be made.
All right, well, I believe that's as much as we can do on what's trending this morning.
Well, thank you very much, Kachi. We'll wait for you tomorrow to come and catch the stories again. And that's all on today's edition of The Morning Show.